What's up, guys? Chad G back out in the garage tonight. It is Sunday evening and I kind of jumped ahead of you guys. You know, so much for this being like a tutorial. All the work is done now underneath the car. All I gotta do is disconnect the brake lines, or not the brake lines, disconnect the mounts and the fuel line, the main fuel line. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I'm gonna start filming now. I totally forgot to turn the camera on earlier. I got a late start, it's a Sunday. I gotta work early in the morning, so I don't have much time, so I just came out here, busted it out really quick. I'm gonna pull the engine now. I'm gonna start filming now. So let me get the engine out and we'll talk a little bit more about what I've done tonight earlier that I didn't film, and we'll talk a little bit more about the future of this build. Alright guys, so the engine is out. Everything went relatively smoothly. I've done this job a few times and there's usually something that you get hung up on, but this one went really smooth. So the main reason I pulled this was to replace that yellow, you can see the pressure plate in there, that aftermarket clutch needs to go. So while I have it out, I can see actually, once I got it out, I could see, you guys can see too, it has a new oil pump, so that's kind of odd. So that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. Maybe they replaced it as maintenance. I don't see an oil pump being a maintenance item, but some guys, you know, they go the extra mile. Or there was an oil pressure issue with this engine, we don't know. I mean, it ran great. I didn't put an oil pressure gauge or anything on it, obviously, because I didn't know that it had a new oil pump until now, but I think it's going to be fine. I'm going to pull the timing covers off here, check the timing belt. I assume it's probably new if they put a new oil pump on it. If it's not OEM, I will be replacing the timing belt and water pump. And then, like I said before, there's some wiring issues that need to be taken care of, you know. I don't know if you can see up close, but those wires for the VTEC solenoid are green, which means they're corroded. Eventually those are going to fail. We got broken wires for the reverse switch, broken fan switch. I haven't gone over the harness, the engine harness itself, a whole lot. I can tell somebody has been playing with it. It's not all original as far as like the looming. But I'm going to go over it, make sure everything's good. If not, I do have a really, really good condition, or a mint condition, OEM EM1 harness down in the barn that I can use. So I'm going to go over that another day and see what I got to fix on the wiring. Now to the bay itself, this is the big project here. This thing is trashed, and I'm going to turn this light off because it looks weird. The bay is trashed. So I got a lot of work to do in here. So not only is it dirty, but we've got broken clips, you know. There's clips like this, they're just everywhere, like somebody just ripped them off, you know, and just broke them. The factory harness holders are broken in various places. And then over here we got some wiring that needs to be taken care of. There's a broken wire there, plus I haven't pulled the tape back on the wiper wiring yet. And there's this weird issue here. I've never seen this before. But there's a hole in the shock tower. I assume this car was really low at one time, probably lower than it is now. And let me show you guys why. There is a service port for the upper ball joint, and that is what went through the shock tower. Pretty crazy. It's a new upper ball joint, which is great, but it ruined the shock tower. It also looks like that grease port might be leaking a little bit. And we got a bad CV boot here, which is what's throwing grease all over everything in this wheel well here, so that's gonna get taken care of. So one thing to note, we have what appears to be Progress coilovers in the front, which is a pretty good coilover. My buddy just bought some for his Integra last season and ran them and he liked them. But the weird thing is, in the back, it has these Tane these are the Tane street basis coilovers, I believe is what they are. Just by looking at them, I can tell by the plastic purchase. So it's got mismatched suspension. Thank God it has the OEM exhaust. And another issue I can show you guys here is the sway bar is just dangling underneath the car there. Now, that's not a big deal. Let me go to the other side, I'll show you guys. So the sway bar is just dangling, not a big deal. I don't know why, it's just dangling. But the problem with it dangling like this is the control arm has to come off because that thing needs to be flipped up, I believe, to properly mount the sway bar. So either the sway bar's got to come off and get clocked, or the lower control arm has to come off. Oh, by the way, those are BWR control arms. I'm not a fan of the anything BWR, honestly, but they're there. I'm gonna keep them on unless the bushings are blown. We're gonna reuse them. So I'm kind of thinking about taking a whole different direction on the engine bay on this. When I bought this car originally, I was like, okay, it's an Electron Blue Pearl Em1, and I'm gonna kind of do like a restoration in the engine bay. Fix get a cruise control module, put cruise back in. I was told that the AC worked. The AC does not work, and the AC is a mess. So there's a mess of wiring here. I don't know if you guys can see it because of the light, but I mean, this is all hacked up wiring for the AC, and it's gonna be a lot of work. So I'm gonna go down in the barn and check out my dad's hatch that he's gonna be parting out here, and take a look at the AC system, see if I want to convert it over. But I think I'm going to take a totally different direction with this engine bay, and delete the emissions, delete the fuel filter, run an inline fuel filter, reroute some of the brake lines, and just make this bay look really, really nice. So probably do some wire tucking. I'm going to keep power steering for sure, so that's also something that needs to be reworked. The bracket's all bent up, and it was like leaking, and it was really close to the power steering pulley. Too close for my liking. It wasn't like my factory location. So I'm thinking maybe, clean up the power steering, everything, make everything look really nice. And then maybe, paint the bay. I'm gonna weld up this hole, take everything out of the bay, and just give it a nice coat of paint and clear. And just make this engine bay look really, really nice, and delete the unnecessary accessories. So it'll be just like, every other modified Em1 out there, with no AC. But I'll make it look really nice, and that might help sell it. And it's something that I enjoy doing too. I like having a nice, simple looking engine bay. That's how my other two cars are. I mean, well, my other coupe is. It's really simple. It's really easy to get the engine in and out when I need to, and it looks really cool. So one other thing that I noticed is missing is the factory strut tower bar. That's missing it. You can see there, the other side almost poked through here on the strut tower. So I'm thinking a whole new coat of paint, delete AC, delete the emissions, rerun some of these lines, clean everything up really, really good, and give it a nice coat of paint, drop the B16 back in, and it'll look really nice. I'm also thinking about ditching these engine mounts. I thought they were Hossports, but that's the only Hossport. This one's like a 1320 or 132, and so is that one. Now the black Delrin is like the softer version, but it still vibrates the heck out of the car. And this is a street car, this isn't a race car, so I'm gonna look for some factory mounts for this thing just to make it smoother. You know, maybe I'm just getting old, but I'm sick of having loud, squeaky, rattly, you know, cars. It just, the driving experience is just, it's all right for a track car, but for like a street car, you know, it's just not fun. So I think that's the route that we're gonna take on this car. I'm excited that we got this break here in Michigan with this nice weather so that I could get out here and finish the Lexus and then start on the EM1, you know, all in 2 days. So I made a lot of progress in 2 days, but unfortunately we have a big storm coming. I don't know if it's a big storm, but we have a cold front coming. It's gonna be in like the 20s, you know, for like the next week and the foreseeable future. My son's birthday is next weekend. The weekend after that, the wife and I are going on vacation. So I don't see a whole lot of progress happening. I'm gonna come out here tomorrow night maybe, or another night this week and just go over everything, maybe pull the timing cover on the B16, maybe, well, I'm gonna start making a list of the parts that I need to order. So I'm gonna start ordering parts for this thing and just get a game plan. I'm gonna come out here with like a pen and paper and just get a game plan so that I can, you know, get working on it. And then in the meantime, I also have some plans for the Lexus. So I think that the EM1's probably gonna be on jack stands for, probably till springtime, unfortunately, unless I, you know, get a bug up my ass and wanna get it on the road. I'm planning on, you know, ordering some parts for the IS300 as well. I don't know how much money I have though. I gotta check, you know, I keep my garage finances separate from, you know, the household and all that stuff. So I don't have a lot of money to spend on cars. And I just bought new wheels for the IS, which I'll show you guys someday. I just picked them up last night. I'm super stoked. I got some awesome wheels for the IS, a set of wheels that I've always wanted. Got a really good deal on them from a buddy. So I'm gonna head in. I gotta go to work early. Probably put this video up tomorrow. I want you guys to like and subscribe, you know, give me some pointers. This is only my second YouTube video, but I hope you guys like it. There's a lot more coming. There's gonna be the IS, there's gonna be the EM1, there's gonna be the EH2. I got 2 EKs coming up in the springtime that we're gonna be doing an engine swap on. And the garage is getting a refresh, like I said in the last video. So give me a like, give me a subscribe. You guys hang in there, you know, I'm gonna bring you guys a lot of good content over the next year. And like I said before, I'm gonna have at least one video up a week for the year. So take it easy, guys. Have a good week.